Everyone reaches a point in their life when they're at a crossroad where the decision that they make will impact them the rest of their lives.
I'd like to be a businesswoman.
My dream is to help those people who don't have help.
It can be whether they'll become a teenage mother, whether they'll be selected to represent their country at the Olympics.
I know I'll be one of the best players chose in 2018 to go and play the Commonwealth Games in Australia.
Or simply deciding to take up a really good job. Traditionally in Uganda, the roles that girls and women have had have not made it easy for them to enjoy the privileges that women in other societies have. This ends up leaving girls and young women in very vulnerable positions, so they end up making decisions that sets up a disadvantage for the rest of their lives. At Rugby Tackling Life, we recognize that there are very many ways to empower women, but as most of us are heavily involved in rugby, we have chosen to use rugby as a tool with which we will empower the girls and young women that we encounter.
I don't regret playing rugby. It is part of me and I just enjoy it. However much anything happens to me, still I go. When I become fine, I come back and I play.
It's important that at Rugby Tackling Life, we do not actually choose the paths for these girls and women, but instead we create opportunities in both the academic education, in sports.
They paid for me a level, that is senior 5 and senior 6, but they hoped to pay for me even in university. So actually I will be happy when they say, you're going back to school.
That will enable them to choose paths that will suit them and then help them tackle life both on and off the pitch.
Those who look at me as their role model, they should do the same as I do. I study and at the same time I go for sports.
And also equip them with life skills.
Before I joined Rugby, I couldn't speak. I was like very shy.
Currently there are about 2,000 girls and women playing rugby in Uganda. And we have identified 3 girls of school-going age in each of the 4 regions that we operate in, northern, eastern, central and western Uganda. We intend to give them bursaries such that they're able to complete their education, and we monitor their performance in school.
Older than 14, up to now they are still paying for me. And when I go to school, there is no worry about school fees.
Additionally, at Rugby Tackling Life, we want to be able to hold rugby clinics in various regions of Uganda to introduce the game as well as to improve the technical abilities of the players in those regions who are already playing the game. And we also intend to hold tournaments within Uganda such that players are able to play and test out the skills that they have learned, as well as enable players to travel for international tournaments so that they can gauge themselves against other countries in the world. As much as we believe in empowering women, we involve boys and men in our program, because when we involve everybody in the society, it makes it much easier for us to move together as a unit. One way that we will get funding to run our Rugby Tackling Life programs is by selling coffee.
The blend has Arabica beans, which comes from the west of Uganda, Zoris, and it's got some beans from Mount Elgon in the east, Robusta beans from the central region. The concept behind the blend was to create actually a coffee that also represents the Uganda coffee story.
So by selling this coffee, we'll be able to get money that will fund our Rugby Tackling Life programs.